Will pine nuts tofu? That's the most expensive question you've ever asked me. Good thing today's sponsor, Thrive Market, is supplying us with raw organic pine nuts. Friends, you know the drill. Soaking overnight to plump up our pine nuts. The next day, I like to see just how thirsty they were before blending with double their volume in water. Into my trusty nut milk bag, and repeat with the second half of the batch. Then it's time to train for handshake superiority. For the most part, the fat, protein, and sugar should remain in the milk, which I will taste on your behalf for science. Oh dear, apparently I have expensive taste because this is the best plant-based milk I've ever had. The flavor is mild but fragrant, buttery with a hint of forest mountain air and sweetness. It's so good. The pulp, well, it tastes like pine nuts and it definitely has retained some of the fat because it's creamy. Not so smooth in the mouth as it looks, but it's not all that gritty either. We're definitely going to use this later in the video, but for now, let's get this raw pine nut milk on the stove and see how it compares to the other nuts and seeds we've tried. Remember, when heated up, the milks of pumpkin seed, pistachio, hemp seed, and sunflower seeds all self-coagulated. No additional coagulant necessary. Pumpkin and hemp, of course, were the best ones, bouncy and firm. Pistachio and sunflower came out more like fluffy cheesecake. Will pine nut milk follow suit? While we wait, let's make a little coffee. This is actually Thrive Market's own store brand, and this is a case where the store brand is actually the premium stuff, which is counterintuitive. Basically, whenever I have analysis paralysis, if I just get the Thrive Market brand, I just know I'm going to get great stuff at a very good price. They don't just carry their own brand though. Thrive Market carries everything healthy and wholesome at guaranteed lowest prices and shipped straight to your door for the most worry-free shopping experience. I love Thrive Market for finding new to me stuff like these Hue chocolates, which are so next level, but they're so much more expensive at my local stores. I just found these tempeh chips, like chips made out of tempeh. I've got to try them next time. Not to mention those pine nuts. They are usually such a luxury. I mean, they're always going to be because the trees only ripen like every 2 years and it's so labor intensive to harvest. But I looked around and Thrive Market's price on them is absolutely amazing. Their website makes it so easy to shop with their buy it again feature. You can get all your favorites on a repeat. I am hooked on these marinated olives. They're such a great snack. I mean, I guess you could put it in your sandwiches and salads, and I always mean to, but then I just snack on them. Anyways, Thrive Market is giving you guys 30% off your first order, plus a free gift. So use my link in the description below, or I think I have it up in the cards as well. This is for my US-based friends only, lucky duckies. So I'm going to sip on this and see if those pine nuts will be lucky enough to tofu. Bubbling and boiling, and yet no coagulation. Wah wah. Better do a boiled pine nut milk taste test while we're here. It's still very delicious, but the flavor has been toned down a bit. I prefer raw, if we're just gonna drink it. But we're not. Time to mix up our go-to tofu coagulant, one of the original traditional minerals used for making soy tofu, calcium sulfate, in a half cup of room temperature water to distribute it evenly. I'll check that the milk is still hot enough. I'm aiming for 180 degrees Fahrenheit, so when I add the coagulant, it will not sink lower than 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Because that's what works for making soy tofu, fava bean tofu, high-protein chickpea tofu, as opposed to the Burmese custardy style that most recipes online make, and many other peas and lentils we've tried so far. Back to the present, I'll cover the pot and let it rest for 15 minutes. Afterwards, it's the moment of truth. Oh, that doesn't look good. It's giving pine nut soup. It is a lot thicker than before, but no separate curds and whey. Doesn't it remind you of the time we tried to tofuify walnuts? But there's even less visual separation. You can kind of see a little bit of texture left on the spoon that wasn't there before. And you might think, oh, maybe you should add some acid. Add some citric acid, Mary, lemon juice, vinegar. No, this pine nut milk is so delicious that I'm not that mad about this fail. But what if we tried to make something that looked like tofu? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave this overnight and come up with an idea. But for you, it'll just be a second. 1740. But we have so much milk and it's so creamy. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I forgot to hit record, but that is 100 grams of our leftover pine nut pulp. Adding a half cup of sugar. Can you guess what that was all for? I'm gonna put it in the fridge to chill completely, and in the meantime, make pine nut tofu, but not in the sense we usually mean. I'm following the tradition of making something that looks like tofu, like Japanese sesame tofu, or Chinese rice tofu, or almond tofu, meaning it will look like tofu. But how will it taste? We'll have to find out together. This'll need some time to set. I'll also make something a bit sweeter. This will be my first vegan attempt at panna cotta, which usually uses dairy cream and gelatin to set. So this is truly a test. They'll need time to set as well. Finally, I told you we were going to use that nut milk pulp. Into the dehydrator. Remember that first mix we chilled? Yes, it's going in the ice cream maker. Only it's been so long since I've used this thing that I forgot you need to have it running before pouring in your ice cream mix into the frozen bowl, so now it won't spin and I have to scrape it out. After much wrangling, I got it going. So this is attempt number 2. Now that I've managed to make a huge mess. Much better. It's got a soft serve texture, so I'll freeze it in this container to harden up. Let's start with this. It's completely dry. Sounds crispy. No, the texture is like eating raw nuts. It actually is tasty though. It's not bad. However, it is a pretty expensive cracker to be that price. Although that's not all we made, was it? Let's next, because it's melting, get into ice cream. There it is, looking like mashed potatoes. Here's where I hit the wrong setting on my camera, so enjoy me taste testing this in slow motion, but the texture was really gelato-like. I drew inspiration from gelato with the cornstarch inclusion, and I think including the pine nut pulp gave it extra flavor and helped the texture as well. But next time, I would reduce the sugar, plus add 1 or 2 flavors to enhance it like vanilla, lemon, or rosemary. Then I can totally see me doing this again, but maybe with toasted pine nuts. Next, let's see about our chocolate panna cotta. I think, oh, that's solid. Oh, it could be too solid actually. And it slips right out. Beautiful. This one is not slipping out as easily because the bowl shape, oh, it cracked. The bowl shape is not perfectly round. There's like a flat part. worried that the texture is too firm for panna cotta, but the texture is a little too firm for panna cotta. But the flavor is there. I think the other flavorings though, the chocolate and the coffee, has overpowered the pine nut flavor. So I would use probably half the amount of agar-agar next time. But it does solidify and does become firm. So that does bode well for our pine nut tofu. This is the moment of truth. Let's pick. It has that jelly quality to it. It doesn't feel like tofu whatsoever. It looks like it though, right? I mean, if I posted this on social media and told you pine nut tofu was a thing, you would believe me because it looks like it. So don't believe everything you see on the internet. It's just the texture that's getting to me. I don't like it. Agar-agar doesn't set like gelatin. It sets brittle, like it's jelly, but it's a brittle jelly rather than a squishy jelly. You know what I think might improve this is to actually have some flavor, because it tastes like basically nothing, and it has a hint of that pine nut flavor, just a very hint. Let's try it with some soy sauce. Now it really gives soy tofu. Weird. So would I make this again? Only for an exotic tofu tasting party. Otherwise, it's very expensive for not tasting like very much at all. It has a refreshing quality. So I feel like you could serve this like you would a cold silken tofu dish with like soy sauce, black vinegar, a little bit of chili crisp maybe, green onions. That would be really refreshing. With that, thank you to everyone who requested this video. And thank you to Thrive Market for making this actually possible. Don't forget to click the link in the description box down below so that you can get 30% off with your first order, along with a free gift when you join Thrive Market as a new member. Thank you to Thrive Market for sponsoring this video, and with that, bye for now.